So Pete Buttigieg spoke to CNN, and he shoved his foot in his mouth yet again. This time it's on the issue of campaign finance. Mediaite reports 2020 presidential contender Pete Mayor Buttigieg. Pete Mayor Buttigieg? Wow, that is dyslexia to the max right there. Mayor Pete Buttigieg defended high-value fundraisers to CNN's David Axelrod, saying, "We are trying to reach everybody at every level. You raised quite a bit of money, almost $25 million in a quarter, which was phenomenal," Axelrod said. "You've done 70 fundraisers in places like Hollywood, Silicon Valley, Wall Street. Does it give you any concern?" Quote, "We are trying to reach everybody at every level. In addition to the traditional political work we do, we have a lot of grassroots fundraisers where tickets are very affordable," Buttigieg said. "Until we change our campaign finance system, we are going to continue to have this problem that the people we elect and expect to spend their time solving our policy problems are spending way too much time raising the dollars they need in order to play the field," Buttigieg explained. "Including you?" Axelrod asked. Quote, "Yeah, how else can we fund the campaigns?" Buttigieg responded. I know. Through small dollar donations. Now, listen, the long-term answer is what's called clean elections, which means getting private money out of the political system, basically overturning the various Supreme Court cases, including Citizens United and McCutcheon and Buckley versus Vallejo, and basically making it so that it is no longer the interpretation of the Supreme Court that our Constitution says money equals speech. That is certainly not true. That's a ridiculous reading of the Constitution. If money equals speech, then you should technically be able to do murder for hire, and you should have a constitutional right to prostitution. Because if you get caught in the act of paying somebody for sex acts, you could just say, "No, I'm not paying for sex acts. This is speech. I'm saying I think sex acts are great. I'm paying this person and letting them know I think sex acts are wonderful. I'm not trying to murder somebody. I'm paying a hitman and just telling the hitman because money is speech. Hey, I'm just saying it would be great if my wife was killed, but I'm just saying it. I'm not actually paying for it." So this idea of money equaling speech is beyond ridiculous, but the long-term goal is to basically get a constitutional amendment to say money does not equal speech, and we have clean elections by law. So we can't have billionaires and corporations buying elections. But we're not at that point yet. We don't have that yet. So then what's the best alternative under our incredibly corrupt system? The answer is very simple: small dollar donations. Step one is no corporate PAC money. That's the easiest form of corruption. Get rid of that corporate PAC money. And then step two is no, high dollar bundling dinners, that sounds so funny and kind of dirty too. Bundling dinners. That's when, you have these events in Wall Street and Silicon Valley, and it's all, thousands of dollars per plate, and then rich people come and they pay you that way. Like, "Oh, yeah, sure, I pay $2,000 for my plate, but this isn't corruption." Well, everybody in the room is making over $1 million a year, and they have very specific needs that they want from their politicians. Hey, lower the tax rate. Hey, let me get away with this, tax haven I'm using in the Cayman Islands. Hey, deregulate us, whatever it might be. But it's a form of corruption where they're paying a tremendous amount of money, and they get the ear of this politician, and the politician is very likely to take that phone call when he's in office. And Joe Biden even said as much. He said it. He's like, "I don't think it's corrupt, but sure, if you give me money, I'm going to take your phone call when I'm in office." Well, that's the problem. You're not going to listen to a grandma from Cleveland who didn't give you any money, who needs your help and who needs clean water, and they don't have it. But you are going to listen to the asshole CEO who gave you money because of the bundling dinner. So, Pete, the answer is very simple. No corporate PAC money, no big money bundling, and raise money through small dollar donations. But see, the reality is a guy like Pete Buttigieg knows I can't raise as much money through small dollar donations. Why? Because he's not actually representing what the people want. The people want Medicare for all. The people want free college. The people want a living wage. The people want to end the wars. The people want to fully legalize marijuana and free all the nonviolent drug offenders. There's a million policy proposals that the American people want. Pete Buttigieg supports some of them, but on many of the biggest ones, he's MIA, and he's taking the opposite position. And he's gaslighting you in the process, too, by the way. Medicare for all, how could we do that? So he knows I can't out-fundraise somebody like Bernie through small dollar donations, so what am I going to do? Of course I'm going to go to the rich people. But that's the problem, Pete. And then you defend it on principle and say something like, how else am I supposed to fund campaigns? Maybe have better policy ideas and then be able to raise from teachers and nurses and construction workers and regular folks. How about that? But see, the problem is he doesn't want to have those better policy ideas because he likes to gaslight and say, how is that possible to do free college and Medicare for all when every other country is developed has it? So I'm telling you, Pete Buttigieg is getting worse and worse and worse. As time goes by, it's crystal clear he's taking more of the Biden path, taking more of the mantle of centrism and slight tweaks to the status quo as opposed to real fundamental change. And it's kind of embarrassing. But yeah, there you have it. Mayor Pete is defending big money fundraisers. Now, I will say this as a final point. He actually does take over 50% of his money in small dollar donations, small dollar being defined as $200 or less. So you would think if he wasn't a total political jackass, he would have clearly said, like, well, I take most of my money in small dollar donations, but he didn't say that. Because why? He actually believes, in principle, that those big money bundling dinners are totally fine. And that's a problem. That's a problem. Because I do think this is the kind of person who's going to take those phone calls and honestly believe, hey, this is just par for the course. What do you want me to do? Sure, I accepted money from some rich donors and I took their phone call, but that's just the way politics works. What do you mean? It's not an option to not do that. I mean, that's really what his reaction here says. His reaction here says, hey, I'm for sale. You want to have a big money bundling dinner and have a bunch of asshole CEOs pay me? I'm willing to listen, dog. So this is an advertisement. Hey, man, just so you know, I'm here. I'm here, dog. If you want to donate, you want to talk. And that's the problem, is that even though his fundraising numbers are not that bad, because a lot of them are small dollar donations, in principle, he's fine with the bigger money and representing their interests. So, not good. Not good, Pete. Very sad. The way that you get any change in our system, you don't go in there asking for half measures. That's what Obama did, and ultimately we got very little change. We ended up getting his biggest change was, his biggest policy was an old school Republican healthcare law. I mean, that's just what it was. It was originally from the Heritage Foundation. That's what the individual mandate system is. It was a version of Romney Care from Massachusetts. Newt Gingrich and Chuck Grassley supported this because it kept the private health insurance companies in control. So his biggest change was a Republican idea. Obama even said at one point, yeah, I'm like a old school moderate Republican. So this is what happens when you go in there asking for half measures. You get a half measure to the half measure, so a quarter measure, and the quarter measure is just a center-right idea. That's what it is. So based on that, every Democrat who's openly running on, I'm not for Medicare for all, like I'm for a public option, I'm not for free college, I'm for slight tweaks and expanding Pell Grants or whatever, like all of those candidates, eliminate them. Because you are not going to get any real change that fundamentally helps working people who need it desperately. Because they're going into the negotiation saying, I'm already conceding, I'm already capitulating, I'm already half-repping your ideology, my political opponents. And so at the end of the day, you get Dickie McGeezax. You get Bupkis. You need to have somebody who's willing to go in there and say, no, not only do I want a Medicare for all system, I want an NHS-style Medicare for all system. Public funding of public institutions, bitch. All these private hospitals, they're now public. How you like them apples? How you like them apples? Start from that position, and then maybe the final negotiation is, okay, we're going to have, instead of a UK-style single-payer system, we'll have a French-style single-payer system where it's public funding of private institutions. You can still be private institutions, but we have a single-payer, so the government is the single-payer for healthcare, and fine. And, you want us to concede a little further? We'll mandate that the Medicare for All system is not just one federal program, it's forcing each individual state to create their own single-payer system. Whatever it may be, but you have to start the negotiation repping the ideology that you're supposed to rep. If you don't do that, you're going to get nothing. But a guy like Pete would be happy getting nothing and then going around bragging and pretending like he's so intellectual and he was able to get 3% change, which I've already seen that movie and I know how it ends and I don't like it.